What's going on, guys? The moment you guys knew was coming came, and nobody probably likes this, but they have made a change to the Raekor set and have ultimately nerfed Furious Charge. Now, it's nerfed to a certain extent. They're trying to find ways. Nobody wanted to play with a Furious Charge Barbarian in a public game unless you were doing a greater rift and they were clearing all ahead of you, and then 3 people stayed back to do the rest. Outside of that, it just wasn't a good play style for public games. And so they acknowledged that in a post, and they said, look, our intent is to do something else with it, and they've done that. Now, the biggest change that they did is this right here. It's now based on a charge. It costs 1 charge, and that comes around every 10 seconds, and that does depend on cooldown reduction. And of course, Merciless Assault here, which is still the same effect, just in a little bit different wording, you know, because it's going to bring everything back down. So you'll see down here there's a little 2 down at the bottom right, and if we charge, that goes down to 1, and if we charge again, it completely is gone, and we can no longer Furious Charge. Now, if we had hit something, we would have been able to get that back, but the other big change is that it's no longer going to pull enemies with you. And that was the most troubling part when you're playing in group play, is that they were just dragging enemies and there was nothing you could do about it. Now, it's still extremely strong, and you can still pretty much walk around. Like, we've got these elites here. I don't even have anything procced right. I don't have my... This is just Torment 6. I didn't have my Wrath of the Berserker or Battle Rage on, but as you can see, it's still really strong. And so long as we're hitting stuff, it's coming around pretty quickly. So it's nerfed in the effect that they made it a little bit more like group play friendly. And I can't say that I don't blame them. When I was playing my pet Witch Doctor and watching my pets chase after stuff constantly, was not a fun play style. And you're seeing here that we're going in. You see the 13 million tick there and a couple other things that were going on. That's the other effect of the Raekors here. We'll go ahead and clear these guys off. Is that on the 5-piece bonus, enemies hit by your Furious Charge take 3,000% weapon damage over 3 seconds. This is a good time to go over the changes. The 2-piece bonus, the first enemy hit by Furious Charge takes 100% additional damage. I think this is where they're trying to make up for like Rift Guardians and stuff like that, to where, you know, the Rift Guardian is generally going to be the first one you're going to hit, especially if they're by themselves. So they're trying to get a little bit more out of that. And then, of course, the 4-piece bonus, you get all the runes, which is the old school style. You know, that didn't change. But then the other part, the 5-piece bonus, enemies hit by your Furious Charge take 3,000% weapon damage over 3 seconds. So that's another way, you know, you hit a Rift Guardian, you've got a little bit of cooldown reduction. You know, in that moment where you're waiting on Furious Charge to come back down off of cooldown, you know, it makes it a little tough to do damage, because, I mean, your only real option there is to try and keep Frenzy going, especially with your Gogoks being stacked there. And that's really the only way you can do damage, especially if you're carrying around a big 2-hander. And so they're trying to come up with ways. It's still a little tough. And, you know, I know that there's a lot of different stuff, and we'll see. You can see in this Elite Pack here, it's still extremely powerful. I mean, you can just walk through Torment 6, and it's greater rifts that you see the biggest change, because if you don't kill stuff, then that's when, you know, the hard part comes in. So we're getting our charges back here. We're charging in. I'm going to go ahead and get us to the Butcher so we can show you guys some single target damage. As you can see, we're still building up our charges, and we're still able to go through, but we're not carrying everything with us, which was an interesting play style, solo or group play. And as you can see, we just one-shot that mob. So I'll charge in, you can see the initial hit, then you'll actually see the ticks of the 5-piece bonus there on the Butcher here, and you're going to see what it's like to do single target damage, because it's still a little lacking. I know this is only Torment 6, but we had both charges there, and as you can see, they're going to come around. I'm going to leave our Wrath of the Berserker off so that we can see exactly how this works. As you can see, there's 25 million ticks in there, and that's from the 5-piece bonus that's coming up. So they're finding a way to do, you know, apply a damage over time spell. And we'll go ahead and pop our Wrath of the Berserker. We want to get this guy down. So, as you can see, single target damage is still lacking. We'll go ahead and get the Council Rises in here. Now, you put this on a higher, greater Rift boss, and this becomes far more troubling because they have far more health, and it's nowhere near as fun to fight for that long. So, as you can see, single target damage is still a little bit lacking. They're trying to make up for it in other ways. They took away the fact that you're going to carry, you know, different groups around with you. I mean, you could literally go through an entire map carrying enemies, especially if you were, you know, you could even carry yellows so long as you staggered it a little bit. And so it seemed kind of like they were exploiting everything with that. I mean, I like that they made Furious Charge so powerful in the last patch, but at the same time, it almost made it a little silly. So I'm okay with the change. I still think they need to work on some single target damage. It's really tough when you get up there. I mean, it's really tough for single target damage. I know that's why they made some changes to the set bonus. It just doesn't feel like enough, and hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully there's going to be more changes coming in. That's what the PTR is for them to test everything. But you guys knew it was coming. There was no way that that could be left into future patches. You know, they made Furious Charge extremely OP in the last patch because it was so underwhelming before. And now it became way too strong, and they're going to change it again. So be on the lookout for more changes. I wanted to give you guys the heads up because I'm sure this is going to be one of the most talked about changes outside of the Demon Hunter. The fact that, you know, Furious Charge, every Barbarian was running it. And they might still, but it's going to look a lot different. And it's really going to help a lot of you folks that are just running public games and running in and finding a Barbarian just completely, you know, it made it tough. Nobody wanted to play with a Furious Charge Barbarian. So they've changed that. So be on the lookout for more changes. Hopefully there'll be some more changes to some primary skills or something to help supplement some of the damage that you're not getting in certain areas, especially on single target. So we'll see how that goes. Stay tuned. There's going to be more info coming. Thank you guys for watching as always. And as always, happy hunting. We'll see you next time.